Hi, I'm the old kid. I'm a DJ here locally in Livingston, Texas on a little small country western radio station. Haven't been a DJ very long, about 6 months maybe. Really learning the industry and found out just how much I love it. Actually, I started as a car guy. You know, all my life I've been with car auctions, kind of went through the ranks and became a general manager and did that for about a little over 12 years, I guess, and then retired and found myself bored to death. And I'm one of these people that just love life and always looking for a new adventure. So I decided to get involved in radio and love country music and just a natural fit. But one of the reasons I'm doing this video is because I've had people tell me all my life, why are you so happy? Or, you know, you just don't seem to let things bother you. Don't get me wrong, I have all the obstacles in my world that you have in yours. They come and go. But I've always been kind of one of these people that believe how you accept it or digest it determines what's going to be the outcome. And I'm not one of these people that just think the world is rosy or that, you know, life is just perfect or any of that. I understand it's got its faults and its flaws, but I also understand how you deal with it determines on kind of your destiny. Actually, not kind of, it definitely determines your destiny. You know, you hear people say, oh my God, it's going to be a bad day. You know, such and such and such and such happened to me this morning. It's just going to be a horrible day. Well, I don't quite understand how one bad thing can make the whole day bad. In my opinion, you're going to have some bad moments, but I don't think that it's going to necessarily be a bad day unless you make it a bad day. That doesn't mean that you don't have to deal with the obstacles. It doesn't mean that you don't have to analyze some things and decide what's the best way to approach it. But I found that, you know, probably the biggest problem in life is that when we have issues that happen or things that knock us off track, a lot of people tend to dwell on them, okay? And I describe that as worry. And to me, worry actually is a senseless feeling. It has no destiny. I mean, you know, if you worry what's going to happen tomorrow, when tomorrow's not even here yet, then how could that be a positive thing in your life, okay? So, what I try to do when I have things that cause or start to create worry, I look at the issue, okay, and I examine it, and I try to tell myself what's the worst thing that could happen. And, you know, sometimes the worst can be really, really bad. I mean, let's say you got cancer. So the absolute worst thing that could happen there is that you're going to die, right? I mean, that's the worst that could happen, in my opinion. But how you're going to get from that point to death can either be miserable or you can try to make it fulfilling and enjoy it, okay, is my point. So, you know, say if you did have cancer, you know that you're probably going to have to do chemotherapy and radiation treatment, and there's going to be things that are uncomfortable, but they're put there to you know, hopefully give you a little more life. And once you digest that and understand that that's really the only thing you can do in this day and age with the technology we have, if you want to try and prolong your life, then you've got to go through those things. So then you accept them, you put them in your agenda, and you go through them, okay? But you try to enjoy those moments too. Everything that has happened in my life has happened for a reason. From the good, the bad, the ugly. And I can tell you that when I started at about 25 years old looking for the positive in everything that comes my direction, there's got to be some kind of positive. When I started looking for that, my career went crazy. I escalated to a general manager in a very, very short time. I made lots of money, spent lots of money too. And this video is not about money because right now I live comfortably, but I'm sure not rich. But I couldn't have lived comfortably if I hadn't taken on this positive attitude. Life just tends to throw a lot of things at you. if you're going to go forward, you've got to understand that you can't do it with worry. Worry just, it will bring you down, it will erode you inside, it will take you apart, and then you can't even get on to what you need to do. I'll give you, for instance, one of my years in the car business, I had a big account that was, we were in trouble with. To be quite honest, we had dropped the ball in several areas, and they were testing out the water at another auction house. And we were fortunate enough that they were going to do a test, and they were going to allow us each to have 3 sales apiece and do some comparisons on service and quality and, of course, the price of their cars. The first couple of weeks, the competition just absolutely handed us our bottoms. And we sat down in a meeting and said, you know, we're sitting here just pretty much saying that worrying all about the competition, what they're doing and how they're going to beat us, instead of coming up with a game plan of what we need to do to give them the service and the quality they're asking for, and get the price of their car up to the price that they want. From that day, we concentrated on just that. So we took that worry to a concern and then to a game plan. And guess what? We kept the account, and we actually ended up being one of their biggest auction houses across the country as far as where they sold their repossessions and their fleet lease vehicles. So I'm kind of talking in circles. It's the first time I've done this. My wife is behind an iPhone videoing this right now. And as you can see, I live on the lake. It's behind us, beautiful. Couldn't have got there without a positive attitude. Couldn't have became a DJ at 61 years old without a positive attitude. And the first thing I want you to do is start attacking worry. I want you to think back to a time in your life that was the biggest worrisome time you can remember. It could be about your kids, it could be about a parent that was sick, it could be about a money issue. That's a lot of times about a money issue. It can be just about anything, and I want you to relive it. I want you to relive it as much as you can in your mind. I mean this. When you get off of this YouTube page and get done with my video, I want you to think back to the time that you worried the most and relive it, every minute of it, from start to finish, and what you went through and what the end result ended up being, whether it was good or bad. And then here's the big thing I want you to think about. You survived, or you wouldn't be here watching this video right now. You made it through it. So all of that worry and all of that time that you just thought your world was going to come apart was wasted, because the reality was your world didn't come apart. It may have got rearranged, but you lived through it. I can't stress this enough. Worry kills. It creates ulcers. It causes heart stress. It creates strokes. Worry is a senseless emotion, an absolute senseless emotion. So when you're worrying, change it to concern. And with that concern, take it and digest what's the worst that can happen and learn how to live with it. No matter how bad it is, learn how to live with it. Once you've learned that, now come up with a game plan that maybe you can avoid the worst that can happen. And I will be willing to bet you that 99 9/10% of the time, the worst won't happen. Every once in a while it will. There's nothing you can do about it. Life is what it is. But most of the time, the worst won't happen. So don't waste your time on worry and waste your time on enjoying life. I'm 61 years old, and I'm going to tell you, I have a blast every day. And I try to take whatever my chore is and enjoy it. From cleaning the house or the yard, working on a car, going to work part-time, whatever it is, I try to enjoy it, because I got to do it, so I might as well enjoy it. Why make it bad? Why make it hard? Why make it tough? One other thing I'll tell you that will help you with your day is, if you have 4 or 5 chores to do that day and you know you got to get them done, take the worst one first and get it over with. It's called eat the frog. Get that worst one over with. Once you get that worst one over with, the other ones are going to seem easier, because that's the one you were regretting. Once again, I got to say, you're listening or watching The Old Kid. And I'm an old kid for a reason, okay? I conform and I go by the laws and all of that, but I refuse to know how old I am. I refuse to grow up in that way, and I will always be like a kid when it comes to enjoying life and just having a blast. So I hope this makes a difference to someone out there, and I'm going to do some more videos if I get any kind of hits on this one, and maybe my next one will be about dreams. I think they're the beginning. So for now, adios, the old kid.